Ashok Chotwani, Yoga, Dattatray, Lakshmi, Shivoham, and welcome to the call, Kiran, Ashok Nichani. And I'm just admitting Rajendra, so we would like to welcome Rajendra back to the call. I hope he is feeling well. And we will ask Rajendra, welcome back Rajendra, Shivoham, and hope you are doing well. Nice to have you back.
Thank you.
Okay. So with that note, today, the question, Rajan, I can see Rajan coming in, and I think Gautam. Dear friends, today is a question that many people ask me, and therefore we start with that question today. It is, are all successful people happy? Are all successful people happy? Or rather, are all happy people successful? So quickly, would you like to give your comments before we get on to question answers?
Shivoham Guruji.
Shivoham?
Success has not got end. And it is success has not got any end, but happiness has got end. But with success only, we can get little bit happiness. But happiness is a real success, I can say that. Hello?
Shivam.
Kumar Swami, can you just, I'm sorry, I somehow lost you. You said success?
Okay. Success has got no end. And moreover, it will not give a continuous happiness, but happiness is a only success.
Okay.
The person who is be happiness, he is a ultimate, is a successful man.
Okay, good. Anybody else would like to give your comments? Are all successful people happy? Or all happy people successful? Anybody else?
Shivam Guruji.
Shivam Sanjidas.
This is actually not absolute happiness. This is temporary happiness. One gets some achievement and then that success is celebrated again, it's gone. So this is a temporary happiness, not the absolute happiness which we find after this liberation when we are going to the. This is not at all absolute happiness.
So thank you. In other words, you're saying it is just momentary pleasure.
Momentary happiness. Yes, sir. Shivam.
Shivoham, anybody else wants to say something?
Yeah, Shivam sir, Ashok Chotwani sir.
Bolo Ashok.
Sir, all successful people are not happy because they continue want more and more success and are busy in material world.
Okay.
Whereas all happy people are successful because they are content with what they have.
Okay, good view.
They are free from world and cosmic drama, sir. Yeah.
Okay, good different perspective from Ashok Chotwani. Anybody else wants to say something before we take this to the enlightenment or the spiritual level?
Yes, man, Shivam.
Shivoham, Dattatray.
Man wants success for happiness.
Yeah.
If we are in happiness, we are happy. Why need success? Need not to be succeed.
So excellent perspective. The first line only I'm talking about. Dattatray says, man wants to be successful. Man wants to be successful because he believes success will give happiness. This is what Dattatray says. But it's not true, is what Dattatray says. Yes, who's it?
Rajan.
Rajan, yes, Rajan.
Shivoham, Guruji. Success is comparative. Compare with others, we can say that I am successful. But happiness is not comparative, it is self. Happiness is self, but success is comparative. When comparing to others, we can say that I am successful. Successful businessman, successful student, but they may not be happy. Happiness lasts for long. Happy people always be successful also in life.
But don't many people compare their happiness also? Don't you see many people, oh, he's so happy,
No,
I'm not happy.
Happiness we cannot compare. It is inside us. Whether we are happy or not, others cannot read it.
Okay.
Whether
but
I am happy or not, others.
I find many people comparing their happiness to other people's happiness. It's very common to find.
A simple smile on the face cannot be said that he is happy. Maybe a pretended smile.
Okay. Good point.
Happiness in the inside.
Okay.
Shivam, sir.
Shivoham?
Sir, Govardhan, sir.
Yes, Govardhan.
Sir, happy and successful both are essential, sir, because it does not matter how we live. At the end, what we going to do. At the end, how we going to die is important, sir. So both successful and happiness should be essential for human.
Okay.
And
Thank you. So let me wind up this point because we have to go back to questions. The
Guruji,
question that
Guruji Pranam, one thing I want to add.
Yes,
Those people who think that they get happiness from success, they run after success and it is never ending process. It is limitless desires after one success, another success. So that is temporary.
okay,
I
good.
think those who are happy, they are automatically successful.
Okay, good. What I want to share with the group is this. We as a group, we are looking at enlightenment. These Zoom calls, they have got a particular goal. The goal is enlightenment. Why we want enlightenment? Because we realize that achievement is not the ultimate goal. So you may have achievement, but achievement is not going to make you happy. You may be suppose somebody is winning Miss India. The girl is winning Miss India. The next what she wants to become Miss World. So we are never satisfied with our need. Success doesn't fulfill us. So we want more and more and more and more and more. Therefore, success creates a lot of stress and anxiety. Achievement is not the goal. So my dear friends, today, why I brought this up, because some people ask this question to me. What are we trying to do on this call? On the Zoom call, we are trying to live a life of realization. You know, what is the life of realization? A liberation from misery. The question was, are all successful people happy? No. Are all successful people happy? No, no, no. There are many successful people who are miserable, because you may be successful, but you're comparing with somebody else. You may be successful, but you are stressed out of the next goal. But the question, are all happy people successful? Yes. Why are happy people successful? Because the objective of success is happiness. You want to be successful because you think success will give you happiness. But when you're already happy, then you are already successful. You don't need any success. But we are not able to understand this. The mind is a monkey. So the next point I'm taking you today is, as long as we are servants of the mind, we are going to be miserable. The mind will make us jump from thought to thought, thought to thought, and take us from stress to worry to anxiety. We have to be very careful of the mind. The mind is our enemy. The mind is a monkey. And unless we tame this monkey mind, we cannot have enlightenment. We cannot have success in the sense we cannot reach that state of true peace. So with that note, I'm going back to questions. We would like to throw open to questions. Over to you. Karan Singh. First question from Karan Singh.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Karan.
My question is,
I can't hear you.
Yeah. Hello.
Yes.
Sir, when you told we or God are indifferent, we are same. There is no difference between us. So why do I feel difference? Why do you feel that difference that I am separated from God?
The reason we feel we are separate from God is because of the ego. The ego is the one that says I. When you go in a quest and a talash, you realize this: I am not I. Who am I? Am I this body? You look at a picture, okay? Ashok Chotwani looks at a school picture with all his school friends. Ashok Chotwani would say earlier on, I am that sissy me, I'm standing in the right side corner. Now Ashok Chotwani knows I am not the body. He will not say like that. He will say that is my body. So the moment Karan, the moment the ego says I, then God is separate. Because the moment I am this body, I am the mind, then there must be somebody who created this I, who created me, who gave me life. The ego.
No, sir.
E-
Then the I and God, same thing.
That is when you get self-realization. When there is a realization that you are not the body, you are not the mind. When you get the realization that you are the divine soul, then you feel, I am a soul, you are a soul, we both are the soul, we both are the same. Two waves, Karan, two waves don't think that we are different from each other when they realize we are part of the ocean. They may appear as two separate waves, but as long as the wave thinks, I am a wave, I am a wave, I am a wave, it will always think I am separate, ocean is separate. But when the wave thinks, where did I come from? I came from the ocean. Where will I go? I go back to the ocean. I am nothing. I am nothing. I come from the ocean. I go back to the ocean. This is called self-realization, Karan. The self-realization leads to God realization. Self-realization, when you know I am nothing, I am just an effect. You know, for example, a ring says I am a ring. A chain says I am a chain. The bangle says I am a bangle. But if the ring and the chain and the bangle, if they are melted by the goldsmith, they all become gold. They are not what they appear to be.
Yes,
The goldsmith knows it. So Karan, you think you are separate from God because you think you are Karan. The ego.
that ego also God. Then
There's no ego. Let go of the ego. You cut out the E, the D will appear. ego. You remove the E, it becomes God. So read the book. Let go of the ego and you will find God. There's a book. Kindly read the book.
yes,
Thank
sir.
you. Next question, please.
Okay.
Jyotri's question. Anybody live before I go to Jyotri?
Yes, yes. Yes.
Yes, Dattatray.
Shivam to all.
Shivoham.
Sir, today I have read somewhere in subconscious sleep, you are free.
You are
Free.
free.
Free. FRW. So now how it is in a subconscious sleep? What is it? I have not understand.
I also don't understand. Where you read?
The Yoga Paramahans.
So see, they may be saying different thing with different context. Sometimes you have to read 3 pages to get to the line. That's why we like to be very simple. Okay. So let me now, since you talk of the subject, let us understand.
Okay.
When we are in the waking state, Dattatray, the body is awake.
Yeah.
The mind is awake. Both are awake.
Correct.
This is called the state of apprehension. You apprehend the world around you.
Nice.
Then in the sleeping state, the body will sleep, but the mind is awake. Subconscious you talked about. The mind is awake. The mind will dream something else. Dattatray has become the king of Thailand. Now that is only in the subconscious dream state. That is a state of misapprehension.
Okay.
And the third state is when Dattatray is completely sleeping. There is no body, there is no mind. That is the state of non-apprehension. So these are the 3 states. Who experiences these 3 states? I. Who is the I? That consciousness. It's called in the Vedas Chaturiyam. That Chaturiyam or short form Turiyam. That Turiyam is the one which goes through the 3 states. It is not that there are 4 different people. It is not that the man waking is different from the man dreaming. Is a different man or same man?
No, same.
These are called the 3 states of consciousness. The waking state, the dream state, the sleep state. But we are none of these 3. We experience these 3 states of consciousness. We are the experiencer. We are Chaturiyam.
Okay.
So this is where your reading has helped us reach some other level. Now, for enlightenment, it is very important to know this. It is very important for me to know that I am not this man who's awake, because one day this man will die. This man was born, this man will die. I am not the dream. I'm not the dreamer because the dream is not real. And even the sleep that I experience one day, that consciousness that goes through these three states, I am that consciousness. I am that chitta. That is who I truly am. So we are trying, this is where the world doesn't understand that. We are trying our best to get to understand this. I don't know. No, read your question once again. See if it has any, can we make sense to what he's trying to say?
Okay. In subconscious sleep, you are free.
So I don't know what because in subconscious, normally you dream.
Yes.
And when you go to and in subconscious sleep, in deep sleep. So what he's talking of, maybe in deep sleep, in the third state, you are free. Why you are free? Because the mind is switched off. That the thoughts do not. When you get up sometimes in the morning and say, I had such a sound sleep. Sometimes you see like that, you sleep only for 10 minutes, but looks like you slept for 4 hours or 6 hours in 10 minutes.
Yes.
You feel like that sometimes?
Yes, sir.
That is called sushupti.
Okay.
That state is called sushupti. So, okay, thank you. Can I go to Jyotri? Any more live question? So Jyotri's question, till we have a next live question, kindly correct me and comment on it. Whatever we do is done by mind and ego. Every body has different mind and ego. Does mind and ego die? Does mind and ego of enlightened soul die or not? Interesting question Jyotri is asking. Every body has a different mind and ego, right? Every body has the same soul. Soul is not different. Every body is different. Every mind is different. Every ego is different. But soul is not different. Soul is the same. Like in your house, white bulb is different, blue bulb is different, TV is different, computer is different, but the power supply is the same. So now coming back to the mind and ego. Does mind and ego die? No. The mind and ego does not die. It is reborn again and again and again. But does it die at enlightenment? It dies at enlightenment only when we are liberated and we are united with God. Then there's no mind and ego. Because the mind and ego is a mithya. In English, there is no equal word for mithya. In English, you can't explain the meaning of mithya. Anybody can explain the meaning of mithya in English? It's not illusion. Illusion is Maya. Mithya is, I always like to say it in Hindi. I don't know how many of you understand this in Hindi. In Hindi, it says, Mithya ka matlab kya hai? दिखता सच पर वो ना है, जैसे अंगूठी दिखती अंगूठी पर सच में अंगूठी ना है, अंगूठी से गर हम सोना निकाले तो फिर वो कहाँ है, सोना अगर निकल जाए अंगूठी ना है, अंगूठी तो ये मिथ्या है. So this mind and ego is mithya. It appears, but actually it's not there. Actually, so the biggest, most important thing of today's most important thing of today's call, please capture it. Don't forget, don't miss it. Actually, in reality, there is body and there is soul. That's all. There's a bundle of thoughts. And the ego is mithya. If we realize, if we look and we say, I am not I, there is no mind, the body is a house, it is the home, the temple of the soul, that's all. This is another way for enlightenment. Another way for enlightenment is to realize I am the Atma. That's why my name is Air. Atma in Ravi. This fellow is Ravi. This fellow. This is not me. This is Ravi. I am the Atma in Ravi. So Jyotri, where is the mind? There is no mind. Where is the ego? There is no ego. It appears. It appears to be, even to me. My mind appears. But I tell the rascal, hey, shut up, man. Shut up, you rascal. I tell the mind, shh. Ego comes. I. Who's that I? I am nothing. So what do I tell myself? मैं क्या हूँ कुछ भी नहीं, सब कुछ तुम ही हो प्रभु, तुम बिन मैं क्या कुछ भी ना, जो भी मैं दिखता प्रभु, कण कण में तू है समा, तुम बिन प्रभु मैं कुछ भी ना. So we have to realize this. Oh Lord, you are the breath. Without you, there would be death. Huh? What must you say? Only today I was telling somebody this. You are the breath. Without you, there would be death. This is a key to realize. So Jyoti, I hope you have got the answer. Next question, live question, please.
Sir, I have two questions, sir.
Yes, sir.
Govardhan.
Yes, Govardhan.
Sir, is it necessary to read Bhagavad Gita? That's my first question.
Okay.
Second question is, what is mysticism?
Okay. So, is it necessary to read Bhagavad Gita? Bhagavad Gita is just like another good spiritual book, correct? There's no harm in reading the Vedas, Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita. But if you really want the best scripture, please read the Bhagavad Gita, but concentrate on the 4 Mahavakyas of the Upanishads. The 4 Vedas, Rig Veda, Samar Veda, Athar Veda, 4 Vedas, they have got, they are the juice of the Veda is called Vedanta. Vedanta is 108 Upanishads. The 108 Upanishads, I got the juice of that comes in 4 statements. The 4 Mahavakyas. Sat Tvam Asi, I am Atma Brahma, Prajnanam Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi. That's all you need, Govardhan.
Thank you, sir.
If you can pay attention to these 4 things, you read the Bhagavad Gita, read the Ramayana, nothing, no harm. Please read. All right?
Yes, sir. What
So,
is mysticism?
Mysticism is explained by different people in different ways. In what connection are you asking?
Sir, about spiritual, sir.
You can speak.
So, if you go to Google, you will get 4 different definitions. But in spirituality, we should work on the point of being a mystic. People talk of being a mystic. Now, mystics are those who have got different belief systems. Some mystics are religious, some mystics are spiritual. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Some of the real mystics, like the Sufis, they talk about self-surrender. They talk about samadhi. So mysticism is it's itself a mystery. So there are different people who follow different mysticism. And Govardhan, in our conversation, we try to simplify. We don't want to complicate, because the word mysticism can get us into mystery. No, and can take us into mystics. Now somebody may say, I'm a mystic, and they may write they may be writing motorcycles and going for long drives and saying, I'm a mystic. No, what we want, our focus is on enlightenment. Let us stick to the focus on realization of the truth. Some mystics say it's becoming one with God, becoming one with the absolute. Now that mystic is good, but are all mystics like that? So I don't want you to get carried away by the word mysticism. Next question, please.
Thank you, sir.
Any live question? How can I be mindful of God? What is the method? Beautiful question coming to me. How can I be mindful? You know what's the meaning of mindful? Mindfulness means your mind is full of. How can I be mindful? How can I be conscious? How can I be conscious of God? By realizing God. Satyam Shivam Sundaram. Satyam Shivam Sundaram. You become mindful of God. Where you say, Ishwar Satya hai, सत्य ही शिव है, शिव ही सुंदर है. You look around and see everything beautiful, not as a creation of God, but as God. So when I was in Gulmarg yesterday, it was snowing. Some people were looking and saying, oh, it's so beautiful. God has created snow. God has created mountain. God has created trees. And I was saying, the mountain is God. The tree is God. The snow is God. Because I am mindful of God. When I look at when I look at you in the Zoom call, I don't see Kumar Swami. I see only Swami. I don't see Kumar. I see only Swami. Swami means God. I only see Swami. Can you, when I look at Sanjay Das, I think I am the Das. I am the Das, means I am the servant. He is the Lord. So with every person I see, that's why I greet you with Shivoham, 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 Shivoham. Means I see God in you. I don't look at the skin. I see God within. So how can you become mindful of God? You can become mindful of God when you become conscious of God. How can you become conscious of God? God realization. What is God realization? It is the next step of self-realization. We were in the plane, we were going to Srinagar. Somebody was asking the air hostess, I want to go Srinagar, I want to go Srinagar. The air hostess told, no. First you have to land in Amritsar, then Srinagar. No, I don't want to go Amritsar. I don't know. I want to go direct Srinagar. No, cannot like that. First plane will stop in Amritsar, then plane will go to Srinagar. No. I want to go. I was listening to the conversation. That passenger did not know that the plane has to first stop in Amritsar and then take off and go to Srinagar. So we have to first stop in self-realization. Then we have to move from self-realization to God realization. Can you be mindful of God without knowing who you are? Cannot. Like somebody said, I think Karan said, why am I separate from God? Because there's no self-realization. Why do you think God is separate from you? Because you think I am I. When you think I am I, then you are the ego. The moment you are the ego, you cannot have God realization. If you want God realization, first you need self-realization. I see some hands going up.
Karan.
Anybody else? Karan already asked. Okay, Karan, you have another question?
No, sir, no question. Sir,
Okay,
what?
anybody else?
Yeah. Hello.
Yes.
Sir, what you just told 4 statements in Sanskrit. Can you just explain in English?
The 4 Mahavakyas. It's called Tat Tvam Asi. Tat Tvam Asi means that thou art. That thou art means you are that, not this. You are not this body, not this mind, you are that soul. That's the first statement, Tat Tvam Asi, that thou art. The second statement, I am Atma Brahma. I am Atma Brahma means I am Atma. This Atma is Brahma. This Atma is Paramatma. This Atma, which is inside, this Atma only is Paramatma.
Yes.
Third statement, Prajnanam Brahma. If this Atma is Paramatma, then the Atma in Samhita, the Atma in Veena, the Atma in Parvatiyamma, the Atma in Ashok Nichani, Rajan, Sudeep, Bridget, all Atma is Paramatma, means everywhere there is Paramatma. That is the third statement. The third statement, Prajnanam Brahma. Prajnanam Brahma means Brahma, God is everywhere, in everybody, in Kiran, in Girish, in Rajendra, in Motkula Anand, in Rekha Chaudhary. Everybody has got God. Everybody has got Atma. Atma is Paramatma. And the fourth statement, Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Brahmasmi means I am not I. I am nothing. I am God. Because I am nothing, who am I? I am God. It's just like a ring saying, I am not a ring. I am gold. Because if you remove the gold, I am nothing. The ring The ring is only made of gold. So the ring is saying, Aham Brahmasmi. I am gold in the ring's words. And we must say, Aham Brahmasmi means Shivoham. Aham Brahmasmi means Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. It means the fact is these 4 statements, if you know, you don't need Bhagavad Gita, you don't need Ramayana, you don't need Vedas, you don't need Upanishads, you don't need anything. If you want enlightenment, you just have to realize these 4 statements.
It's the final.
Tattvamasi, Ayamatma Brahma, Prajnanam Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi. Only 4 statements.
Yes.
Okay. Any live
Thanks.
question before I close?
Yes, sir.
Yes, please.
Shivoham, sir, can I call you Air?
Yes, yes, please. You can call me Air. Rekha, tell me, Rekha.
I have a question regarding yesterday's topic.
Yes, please ask me.
Yesterday was the topic relating to marriage and children's, right?
Yes.
Like, so I wanted to ask you that you said that before marrying someone, we have to think 10 times.
Yes.
So actually,
Please unmute. You have
why
become mute.
should
Yeah.
we not marry? Because actually, if everybody thinks that we should not marry and we should not have children and all, then there would not be life on earth, right?
Lovely thought, Rekha. But nobody, 99% of the people are not thinking like that. No, Rekha. 99% people want to marry. Not 99. 99.999. Maybe 99.9. I don't know exactly. I don't know how many people are unmarried today. So we should not worry about what will happen to the world, because the samsar has enough people who are slaves of the senses of the body. They want marriage. They want family. They want children. Now let me answer one question. Rekha, you please tell me, who should not get married? Rekha, do you know the answer to this question? Who is the one who should not get married?
No, actually, you said that and to reach enlightenment, marriage becomes a barrier in between the enlightenment.
So do you agree or you disagree?
Actually, I agree also, but and then I disagree also.
Okay. So let me
Because-
explain to you. If you are very keen for liberation and unification with God, then you come to know that marriage is a bandhan. Marriage is a responsibility, is a binding. And especially not marriage. We were talking about children. The moment you get a child, Rekha, as a mother, do you realize that you are caught at least for 15 years minimum, till a child is 14, 13, 14, 15 years, you are caught in that, yes or no?
Yeah, that is there, but we learn lots of things by becoming a mother, right? We get lots of experience in life.
Sure, but you will not get enlightenment. You will not get liberation. You can get many things, like people who achieve success, they get money, name, fame, everything they get, but they will not attain God. Because G-O-L-D is the opposite of G-O-D. So we must be clear what we want. Are you looking for enlightenment, or are you looking for being a good mother and a good wife? Your choice. Am I compelling people that they should not get married? Am I saying it's bad to be married?
No, it is not like that. But if we want enlightenment, then you said that marriage is a barrier in between this.
That is the truth. That is the absolute truth, unless both the partners are spiritual, unless both the partners are seeking enlightenment together.
Okay.
So you have to, if suppose you want to get married and you want enlightenment, then you have to find somebody who's also seeking enlightenment. Then it's a beautiful combination, lovely combination. But suppose you are seeking enlightenment and he is seeking achievement, one is going north, one is going south, then it's a problem. Okay, Rekha, I hope this is any more question today? Otherwise, you have to continue with it tomorrow. Do you have any more question today on this matter?
No, sir, nothing.
Okay, but please feel free to ask, and please feel free to question what I say. There is no harm in you disagreeing with me and getting a clarity as to why I say what I say.
Because I was thinking like if nobody will get married and nobody will have child, then there would not be life on earth, right? Then
This is what-
who will see the creature of God? How we will see the world?
God
Like
knows
that.
God knows how to make his Leela continue. This is just like Sudeep Bhargava telling yesterday that if I was not there, I did not give life to two beautiful children, then those two children would not have come to this world. No, I told, sorry, Sudeep Bhargava. Don't think that means you are having the ego to think I brought the child. No, I did not bring the two children to this world. So Rekha, please,
Actually, I agree with all your what you say. I agree with it. But this made me think yesterday, like if there is no life on earth, then there will not be anybody in the earth, right?
no,
Then
very good thinking, very good thinking. But you please think a little more today, and you will realize that life on earth will continue. Whether you like, this is how God has created. That's why God created senses. Why God gave us this Indriya? Why He gave 5 senses? Because man will fall in love with woman. Man wants sensual pleasure. Then man will marry. This is what they call in the Bible the forbidden fruit. Actually, it's not apple. Just because they can't explain to children, they call it the forbidden fruit. Actually, it is the actual. God has given 5 senses. That senses will make the mind, make us do karma, and we will come back again and again. Rekha, if you are coming back 100 more janmas, no Rekha, you will still find this world will continue. Don't think this world is going to come to an end. That is the wrong belief. This is called Leela. Prabhu ki Leela koi bhi na samajh saka.
but being with your family also, we can achieve enlightenment. No, we cannot. Being with the
Have a family also, you can achieve enlightenment as long as your family does not interfere in your journey.
Okay,
So it is, Rekha, please think some more, and I request you to start with many of you. I request you all to come and start the questions when we start Ask Her at 8. Otherwise, in the end, we end up with a lot of questions which are not answered. So my request is, Rekha, think some more, and I'm looking forward to you starting the session tomorrow with more interesting questions. But for now,
actually, before when I saw you first time, I was like Gautam is my brother, so I was always telling him like, why you listen to him? Don't go there, don't go there. But then one thing I got attracted towards you is you said that life is a leela and it's all a maya. So that one word, I thought I just think about it. I thought that no, he's right. Actually, what he's telling is true. Then I started listening to you. I actually don't see YouTube videos and all. So one day I just asked myself why the name he is kept as air. So then I saw that Atma in Ravi. So that also attracted me. Oh, this is also really very good. And yesterday, then I got one question to ask you. That's why I asked you today.
okay, please ask more questions. Thank you for being part of us. Remember, all the group, we all are only talking about one thing. We are talking about the truth. The truth.
Yeah. Actually, whatever you say is always I feel as though this is true only.
Okay, so please continue with your questions tomorrow. I bow down to all of you and thank you. Shivoham, Shivoham. Thank you, Rekha. Thank you, everybody.